I was actually at Linklaters in London, and I was moving back to India. And I remember coming across from my interview to the Bombay office. So there were Mrs. and Mr. Shroff and Mr. Bhojani, because I was a financing lawyer. And as you know, he was the practice head in those days. And the three of them came along. We had a very interesting chat, discussions, thoughts, and a lot of it was around the fact that I wanted to stay in Bangalore. It just had to do with my fact that my wife had a job in Bangalore, so I couldn't move to Bombay. And a lot of the discussion was around why Bangalore? What do you see about financing in Bangalore? I mean, financing capital is Bombay. What do you sit and do there? And I remember going through my own thought process, and CSS was super, keen on it. And he picked up those and he said, look, actually, some of these ideas that you're giving are very, very interesting. I'm fine. I'm very happy for you to stay on in Bangalore. And I'd like to offer you a job. So let's get on with it. And I said, great. So we went back home. I think 24 hours from then, there was an offer letter, and call it 3-4 days from then, I was in and out. And that is it. So it was a very, very quick, snappy process for me to find my way into camp. It was an easy decision because obviously Amarchand was the #1 law firm at that point in time. And I had also done an internship in Amarchand, Delhi from my college days. Also helped that my wife had worked at Amarchand as well. So there were lots of touch points, and that helped in making the decision very, very simple. And as soon as I had the offer and they were comfortable with me being in Bangalore, then there was nothing further to discuss. So that's how I came to Amarchand. Because I was in Bangalore, obviously, it was the Bangalore office was slightly different from Bombay. Bombay by this time had become a proper large law firm. The Bangalore office was still more limited. At the point in time, there were about, I think, 4, maybe 5 partners. I think it was 4 partners. There was obviously Nivedita Reba was the managing partner, Arjun and Namrata, and that was it. And then Rashmi joined them, and then I joined them thereafter. And it was a very familial setting, highly cooperative. There wasn't a financing lawyer at that time in Bangalore, and the whole office was like, pushing for success for Prashanth, make sure that this works. And that kind of supportive atmosphere, collegial atmosphere, and it helped that all of us were from the same university. We were all there or thereabouts at the same time in university as well. So there was all of that experience, all of those memories that was brought together in the Bangalore office. And very, very entrepreneurial. The whole focus was around trying to get more work, and then you need to implement your work. You need to execute your work as well. So it was a very, very good time in Bangalore. Now, the advantage as starting, I mean, obviously, you could argue it's a disadvantage as well. Starting a financing practice in Bangalore was that I did not have any background as such. And as I just mentioned, I hadn't practiced as a financing corporate lawyer in India. I was coming from Linklaters in London. I had been a litigator in the Supreme Court for 3 years before I moved to London. So nothing about FEMA and banking and any of that stuff from an Indian law perspective was known to me when I started this. So I did rely a lot on know-how procurement, know-how management from the Bombay office. And for that, I again have to thank 3-4 people, obviously Vichu, who decided to bring me under his wing and take me forward. Leena, who was very, very supportive as soon as I came along. And Santosh and Amey. All 4 of them made sure that subject matter expertise was not going to hold me back. So call it about 6 months, a year into the process, I was very comfortable as an Indian financing lawyer. And that's entirely because of the ability of all of these people to bring their knowledge and help me succeed. And that was actually a very, very good time. So right now, my legal background has been very helpful in my present job. I'm no longer a lawyer. I'm now a structurer in a hedge fund, but I'm a credit structurer. And in respect of credit structuring, which is basically lending and securities, debt securities, a lot of the structuring is actually around entry and exit into countries, or indeed a lot of risk mitigation. So being a lawyer is actually a huge advantage in enabling you to perform this role well. So I'd say about 80% or so is already there in terms of a lawyer, but the remainder 20% is the bit that keeps you on your toes. It's the stuff that you need to understand how a business operates. You need to understand where are the relevant risks, and then you need to figure out how you're going to deal with these risks. What are the steps? What are the structural mechanisms that you will build in, A, to get some leverage, and B, to enable the process to work in a manner that does not lose money for you. Because unlike equity investments where, the sky is the limit. I mean, you could put, 1,000 rupees in Infosys is worth thousands of crores. I mean, multiple crores right now, right? But that's not the way that it works in a lending transaction. It's always capped off at the interest rate. I don't get anything more than that. So then it becomes very important to make sure, A, the person returns your money, and B, you do get your interest and there is no leakage around that. Being a lawyer has been very helpful. And so to that extent, I'm very comfortable in this present position. And obviously, in terms of future aspirations and stuff, we need to see where we go. My past has been fairly diverse. I started as a litigator, became a derivatives and structured products lawyer at Linklaters, went on to do leverage financing, then came back to India, did all kinds of debt transactions, including project financing, moved to Baker & McKenzie as a partner, continued to do financing. So it's been a bit of a mixed bag. And I mean, in terms of diversity of experience rather than necessarily one specific focus area. But I'd like to continue doing that and hope that the diversity will help me make better decisions for the investments that we as an organization make. So I've got 2 kids. Obviously, my wife is also a lawyer, so we both were in university together. She's also an Amarchand alumni. So it's a great time to be in Singapore. Obviously, it has worked out very well for us as a unit. We also have a dog, so Astro keeps us on our feet, and it's a very, very enjoyable weekend. We normally go out for brunches together, do things together. My son plays golf, so the two of us, spend a lot of time on the golf course. We enjoy ourselves through holidays, and obviously, there's always Netflix and Amazon Prime and reading books. I almost always find out that the weekend is never enough for everything that you want to do. Importantly, I've focused a lot more on fitness over the past few years. I think COVID has been a big wake-up call. Before that, I had a whole bunch of things going on. I said, look, let me streamline this and be a bit more focused around fitness. So now I'm into running. I do a little bit of gym sessions. I do a little bit of yoga, and kind of become a habit. It wasn't a habit before. It's taken a bit of time, but now that I've been doing this for the last 2.5 years, I can't see a day where I would just wake up and chill. I mean, I do that as well, but fundamentally, the fact that fitness is an everyday process has become a big, big change for me. And I would recommend that should be an earlier realization for the junior lawyer, because the fitter you are, the better you perform at work. The more focused you are, the energy levels are significantly better. Right now, I'm actually reading a very interesting book called The Code of Capital by Catherine Upestor, which is a very, very interesting relook on the way that law shapes society. So it's obviously implements such as, the trust as a tool or the corporation as a tool, and how that has helped them people who are wealthy to perpetuate certain mechanisms whereby they stay wealthy. So this is a mechanism of creating legal fictions, and a lot of it is driven by people who have motivation to enable a certain set of circumstances to perpetuate. And seeing that the law, which we think is like, it's always a little better, it's blind, it's much more egalitarian. The fact that the law is actually a tool of the haves to enable the have-nots, to enable the haves to continue being haves, is a very, very interesting perspective. And it is even more interesting because it's got a lot of corporate finance elements to it. So that's something that I have been reading recently. I used to say, there is no substitute for hard work. I don't think there is. Everybody says this. Let me put it to you this way. I wasn't a very hardworking person. I mean, I used to work hard, but not like crazy hardworking. But I ended up becoming a reluctant workaholic. You don't have a choice. The number of hours that you put in is finite. And if you put more hours earlier on, the rewards are significantly greater at a later point in time. So I don't think there is anything much to dispute with that piece of advice, which is a very common one, which is work hard. But what I would say a bit more to work hard is also work smart. I think you need to be a bit more organized. I think having some clarity on the objective of the client, having some clarity around what needs to be done to get to that objective, and doing research a bit smartly around the issues will enable you to at least form a reasonable judgment on whether something is doable or not. And if it is not doable, my suggestion is always escalate very, very quickly. If you're a junior lawyer, take it up to the senior lawyer or the partner. But more importantly, if you're a decision maker in the private practice setup, you should be having quicker and earlier conversations with your client around the issues that you're facing. One suggestion that I would make as part of the Work Smart is make sure that you understand the questions that you're asked to chase down. If you don't understand that yourself, you should be asking questions to figure it out. Make sure that you know your task. If not, it's a lot of time that is wasted. And that to me is not working smart. Work is only one thing. Work is a means to life. So make sure that you have something else as well that A, enables you to work better, and B, gives you a little bit more purpose as well. Work cannot be the only thing that will be driving you. So I think that's the other big message that I would give to younger lawyers.